The 500-pound monster every NBA player fears. Troy Escalade Jackson was the king of streetball. He was the original big baller, with a personality and hoops game larger than his 450-pound frame. At 6 feet 10 inches and as much as 500 pounds, Jackson cut an unlikely figure on the court. Nicknamed Escalade after the Cadillac sports utility vehicle, he had supple ball handling skills that surprised opponents and spectators alike. So let's talk about the 500-pound monster every NBA player fears. Welcome to Sports Everything. Make sure you stay until the end because you definitely don't want to miss what happened to this legendary player. Street basketball. Street basketball, aka streetball, has a lot in common with NBA-style basketball, but there is a number of essential differences. First and foremost, classical basketball is more than 100 years old. It's the Olympic sport. In each country, there's a basketball league. This beautiful sport has the traditions and rules established by federations of NBA and FIBA. Streetball, on the other hand, is a relatively young sport. Most often, streetball is played under the open sky, in the yard, in the fresh air. And the classical basketball games, in most cases, are held in the enclosed space on specifically equipped basketball platforms. Also, these games differ by the number of players on the platform. And when it comes to the main difference, we have to mention rules that are strictly standardized. In streetball, here everything is so unambiguous. There's no official rules in streetball. You're often playing on just half a court with less than the full 5-on-5 teams you see in the NBA. As the saying goes, no blood, no foul. Streetball is generally more physical and less structured than NBA-style play. Troy Escalade Jackson. You all know who Mark Jackson is, right? When the Golden State Warriors hired him as head coach in 2011, he inherited a team that had gone 36-46 the previous season and also had made one post-game appearance in almost 18 years. Jackson came in, instilled a different mindset, and completely changed the culture. Mark Jackson was the former point guard who played in the league between 1987 and 2004, and he not only shares the last name of our legendary Escalade, but even blood ties. He was indeed none other than Troy Jackson's big brother. Some fans were so shocked when they found out about it, so what about you? Did you know that? As it seems, they're pretty much a basketball family. Mark and Troy were very talented on the court. Troy was always the biggest player out there, weighing almost 500 pounds. Size did not matter, as Troy was one of the best players on the court. He was very skilled at his size and could handle the ball very well. Troy played in college at Wallace Community College before transferring to the University of Louisville. While at Louisville, he dropped his weight down to about 363 pounds. Even though he only played in 20 games during his time at Louisville and averaged 3-pointers and 1.6 rebounds coming off the bench, in 2002, he joined the AND1 Mixtape Tour and became a well-known streetball player with AND1. His nickname that he used, Escalade, was because of his size, and even though he battled weight problems his entire career, he managed to become a popular fixture on the streetball circuit. The nickname was actually a reference to the Cadillac SUV. As you can see from the title of the video, he is considered to be the 500-pound monster. He even appeared on the cover of Sports Illustrated and was described as a quote-unquote streetball legend by the magazine Jet. Escalade gained a lot of followers during his time playing with AND1, and he always put on a show for the crowd. As it's known, Troy and Mark were super close friends and talked on the phone several times a day. But Troy never put it out there because he didn't want to leech off his brother's fame. He wanted to make it on his own, to pave his own way. And what a path the late Escalade made, paving his own way as demonstratively as he drove the lane, overcoming obstacles, first with his mammoth size, and then with his even greater kindness. In fact, in 2005, when Mark's epic playing career was over and it was Escalade in the spotlight, Little Bro had surpassed Big Bro in fame. Quote, I remember one time we were walking through the mall and some kids ran behind us and I'm thinking, they must recognize me. Instead, one of them tapped me on the shoulder shyly and asked, can we take a picture with Escalade? Said Mark. And that was the first of what became many times where he was the one people wanted to meet. As their mother says, it took Troy a little while to mature, maybe because Mark made Troy feel like he had it all. Mark made him feel like he was the part of everything in that NBA life, and that made Troy a brat for a little bit. Quote, but he matured and became my gentle giant. He and Mark obviously had a really special relationship, says Marie Jackson, Escalade's mother. Did you notice that? We mentioned only Escalade without Mark being mentioned. Where Mark considered the game his calling since he was a young boy, Troy took a little longer to take it seriously, perhaps distracted by the lavish lifestyle Mark had shared with him. As Marie said, Mark was 8 years old when he told them he was going to play ball. He had the discipline that Troy didn't. Troy had the talent, but not the discipline. Quote, if Troy had the discipline Mark did, he could have played anywhere. Not that Troy did too badly for himself. The success that he found as a player at Half Hollow Hills High School East in Long Island, coupled with some flashy ball handling and passing he showcased at Harlem's Rucker Park, earned him a look from Wallace Community College in Selma, Alabama. He played there for 2 seasons and left after his sophomore year, having been named to the all-region team. When streetball became available as a career, he jumped at it. It was the place for him, and he did not work another day in his life. You must have heard the saying, you better find something you like and do that. And that was Troy's absolute reality. And he was so smooth, with great hands and touch. On the streetball level, people loved him because of the way he could pass and handle for a big guy. Do you think there has ever been anyone in streetball with his size that could move and handle as he did? We highly doubt that. Shaquille O'Neal is considered the modern physical giant of basketball, and he rarely played at more than 325 pounds. Troy never played a game as an adult anywhere close to that light. And, as Mark Edwards, an Atlanta-based basketball trainer who helped AND1 launch the Mixtape Tour, said, Escalade had more personality than Shaq. Quote, at his size, with his athleticism and his ability to handle the ball, he wanted to make it in basketball, and, in a way, he did, recalled Mark Jackson. Quote, his struggle was the weight, really. He was so much younger than us. My dad would get paid on a Friday and he'd go do something special with the youngest one. Often, that was going to McDonald's for a Big Mac. So, he was always big, but he could still dominate a certain level of competition at his size. He had an incredible feel for the game. But when you elevated the competition, that's when you noticed the conditioning and the size hurt him. And later, he ended up explaining that Troy traveled all around the world and touched so many lives. Before we continue, please make sure to subscribe to our channel and give us a thumbs up. And also, don't forget to hit that notification bell to turn on post notifications so that you never miss a video from us. Grayson the Professor Boucher. Growing older in age, Troy's weight issues came knocking. Grayson the Professor Boucher, who is most known for playing on and with the AND1 Mixtape Tour, considers Escalade his best friend. And of all of his teammates, it would be the professor that had noticed that Troy's weight was no longer helping him in the same way it used to. Worried about how Troy's weight was affecting his performance, the professor tried nudging him into a healthier lifestyle. But soon, he accepted the fact that Troy simply was not interested in losing weight. And we totally get it. Like, how could he be? His entire success story gravitated around that fact. He was doing things that no one thought it was possible for that gigantic man. Troy Jackson's tragic death. It was a Sunday morning in February of 2011, the All-Star weekend, when Troy died in his sleep at the age of 35. The cause of his death was ruled as hypertensive heart disease. His death ended up sending shockwaves through the basketball community, especially among close friends of the Jackson family. As it was reported, Jackson was found unresponsive in his hotel room shortly before noon on Sunday. Escalade was someone that everyone enjoyed being around. So many people felt his presence, and he had a huge impact on the streetball world. Some people had even called him a gentle giant because of his giant frame, but deep down, had a sweet soul. Troy would be 47 years old today. His playing days would be over. But it's not hard to imagine him still being on the scene in such a big way. As an announcer, a coach, a scout, or even social media celebrity. After all, he did what he wanted. He lived the life he liked before the day of his death. What do you think about Escalade? Let us know it in the comments down below, and don't forget to like the video and subscribe to our channel. See you guys in the next video, and thanks for watching.